stone. We're gonna be dying, not alone.
We're gonna be fighting hard as stone. We're gonna be dying, not alone.
We kill the king and take the throne. We're gonna be fighting hard as stone. We're gonna be dying, not alone. We kill the king and take the throne. We're gonna be fighting hard as stone. We're gonna be dying, not alone. We're gonna be drinking all night long. We're gonna be drinking, not alone. We're gonna be drinking all night long. We're gonna be drinking, not alone. Until the rising morning sun. We're gonna be drinking all night long. We're gonna be drinking, not alone. Until the rising morning sun. We're gonna be drinking all night long. We're gonna be drinking, not alone.
Hello fellow pilots, I'm Major Payne and this is another episode of How to Play. Today I'm gonna talk about the Gotha Go P.60C. It's a tier 9 light fighter currently available in set of missions for Christmas event 2025. In this episode I'm gonna try to answer a couple of questions like, is this plane worth of the money? Is it worth the grind and time you spend on it? What's the most effective build for the plane? Also, what's the parameters and everything you need to know to be effective in P.60C. So let's get into it. And let's start with the parameters of this machine first. For the armament we have 4 30mm cannons, 2 cannons on each side of the fuselage in the wings, very close to the center of the plane, so that's very good. These cannons have cumulative damage 800 and effective range 616 meters. It's the same as we have in a tier 8 German heavy fighter Me-262, so it's a very good firepower, but it's a short range. We also have turret with 2 30mm cannons, pointed upwards with cumulative damage 800 and the range of fire 1000 meter. This is very interesting, not been seen in a game before, and I'm going to talk about this much more in a moment, but let's go through the rest of the parameters first. And so for survivability we have 450 hit points, 48 resistance to damage, 50 resistance to fire. Not great, not terrible. Now speed, we have 550 km per hour cruise speed, 915 km per hour top speed with boost, that's great, 16 seconds of boost duration, that's very good for light fighter, and 1050 km per hour maximum dive speed. Now in the maneuverability we have 10.8 seconds of average turn time, which is the same as German Tech 3 Messerschmitt at tier 9, so that's pretty good. Rate of roll is 130 degrees per second, minimum optimum speed for turning is 330 km per hour and maximum optimum speed is 825, stall speed 200. Now altitude performance are very good, like for high altitude light fighter 2500 meters optimum altitude, service ceiling 4500 meters and rate of climb 168 meters per second. And this is how that looks in a game. This plane can literally go vertically at high speed, and he's gonna go into the red color of his altitude at altitude of 3700 meters, but don't worry about that, you can still be on red and be chasing someone or fighting. Obviously you're gonna have reduced maneuverability and speed significantly, yeah, but the maximum I get is over 5000 meters, yeah, then I just flip over. But that just shows you how you can escape. If someone's chasing you, you can get up to 5000 meters, which is very useful. But now I'm gonna stop and level off just below the 4500 meters, just to show you that this plane actually can fly pretty well at this altitude you see, so over 400 km per hour, close to his service ceiling, and you still can work on this altitude. I know it's not a great speed and you cannot actually accelerate here, you're just gonna waste your boost if you do. Yeah, so this is worth to know how this plane will perform at this very high altitude, so this is it. Now let's get back to the hangar. Let's take a close look on a turret, which have 2 30mm cannons pointed upwards. It's very interesting, and I was really hoping that this is going to be a secret weapon of this plane. It's going to be a light fighter capable of taking down bombers, but unfortunately it is not. Let me explain why. Historically, this solution in German light fighters is called Schräge Musik, which is in English jazz music. 2 cannons are combined together, pointed upwards, and the night fighter has a ground control, radar systems on the ground, and the ground control lead the night fighter into the group of bomber formation, and then when the night fighters are close, then they can turn on their own radar, onboard radar. That's why you see those antennas on the nose of the plane. And then night fighter positioning himself under the bomber, where he can perform surprise attack using the Schräge Musik cannons. And historically, that was very effective weapon. Underbelly of the bomber is very vulnerable, and most of the time, crew of the bomber was completely surprised by attack and had very little chance of surviving. Now, why is that solution not working in World of Warplanes? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. So let's start with this. We don't have night battles. So basically everyone can see everyone. We cannot sneak up under the bomber and perform that attack and being invisible. That's not possible in this game. We don't have huge bomber formation. We just have single bombers, which are much more agile. They maneuvering, trying to avoid air defense and so on. So they are not static target. And finally, most importantly, I would say there's very narrow window for fire available. Firing zone is more historically accurate, I'd say, but it's an arcade game, and that narrow and small firing zone is completely not suitable for this game and simply make this weapon ineffective. Plus, as you see here, it depends a lot on your keyboard settings. So I have keyboard settings which make this literally impossible to position yourself right under the belly, and I choose to use my main weapon, which is much easier to do. But when I try to go to the turret mode, every time I try to turn left or right, the rate of roll is just going violently left or right, and I cannot just make steady position under the bomber. There's a solution for that. Go to your settings, then choose the advanced settings, and then you have this rate of roll. You change that to 0 and apply, and okay. So basically now when you are in a game and you try to turn left or right using mouse, that's what's gonna happen. Your plane is gonna turn left or right, but in a level flight, yeah? In order to roll and turn, you need to use your keyboard. So I'm pressing A or D to the roll to the left, roll to the right, but that requires for me to use the keyboard. Before that, I could only use my mouse. Now, the advantage here is in this turret mode. So when I'm in a turret mode and I turn left on the keyboard, I'm still doing that in a level flight. I'm not roll. There's 0 roll. So basically, thanks to this setting, now I can effectively use this Schräge Musik cannons. So I position myself under the bomber and I can correct my course slightly to get the bomber into this narrow window of firing zone for the turret, yeah? And when we unleash this weapon, it's very destructive, yeah? It's very effective, 800 cumulative damage, as you see, bot bomber in this case being deleted very quickly, yeah? But other problems are still there, and this is a fragment of battle when I try to use that up against this player in RB17. The problem here is that I'm not invisible, so the guy can see me, yeah? I approach him, I start firing, he realizes what's going on, so what he's doing, he pitch up and he put me into his tail gunner now, and I get critical damage. Pilot, yeah, there you go. And he's defending himself and he's running away from my range of fire, yeah? So, you see, it's only theory, it's not very practical still. It's just, I mean, you can use your forward firing weapon for 30mm cannons and have same or even better effect, yeah? Approach the bomber from side or front or from below, whatever, and you can deliver the devastating attack, like I'm finish off that here with my forward firing weapon, yeah? And these 4 30mm cannons are not easy to use. Whoever flies tier 8 German heavy fighter Me262 knows that this is not an easy craft. We have weapons which have out-aim angle only 2 degrees, dispersion angle 0.55, overheat time 5 seconds. So basically these weapons are not suitable to deal with bombers. They overheat too quickly, the range is only 616 meters, they are not rapid firing. The idea that this plane can deal with bombers is delusional. We are not going to fight with tier 8 bombers and tier 9 only. We are going mainly up against tier 10, and that's the reality of this game. Like, matchmaking will constantly put you up against tier 10, very often 4 bombers per team, like These are powerful bombers, fast with good tail gunner. But nonetheless, I did try to build this plane for like a bomber hunter. I put some extra HP, speed build, and I used bolt carriers to increase the overheat time so I wouldn't overheat my gun so quickly, but that's still not enough. And I cannot put my upwards firing Schräge Musik cannons to use because they are not practical, so the information we're getting about the firepower of this plane is very misleading. Like, if you see in a hangar, what you see on scale is when I build my plane like with the gas operation action to increase the firepower, it says actually 72 firepower on the scale. That would be great, really great for tier 9, yeah? But that's not the reality. This figure is coming from both of these weapons, so from forward firing weapon and from the turret, so it's together 72. But obviously we're not going to use them simultaneously, and so if you take out the firepower of your turret from this plane, it's gonna be exactly the same as Me262, and you're gonna end up with 56 on the scale. And of course this is with the assumption that you are going to use the gas operation action equipment fully calibrated to 478 technological level. Now what you see in the background is my best battle, in which I was trying to take out this B-29C a moment ago, but of course I failed with my turret, yeah, because it's too difficult to use, and B-29C is not alone, there are other players around, so they simply taken care of me, yeah? Now I re-enter the battle and I see someone else playing, so if that's happened to you, just press enter and then escape. So that's the easy fix of this common bug, I would say. A lot of players have this problem and ask me this question, what to do in that case. Now we're gonna take a quick break now for the build I use eventually for this plane, and as you can see, it's very standard for light fighters. On the first slot I have culminator sight, then on wings I have light wings, in this case it's experimental one, and on engine I have gas turbine for extra speed and lightweight power unit for maneuverability, and of course on guns I use gas operation action to increase the firepower. As you see, I have a chance to revenge myself on that B-29C. We are a serious threat for tier 8 and tier 9 bombers, but not for tier 10. That's too much for this plane. Even tier 8 bombers like B-29C or Tu-10, you cannot approach them from behind in a light fighter. It's just not gonna work. You are going to get killed by the tail gunner, and you need to use your speed and firepower to attack the bomber from different angles, from above, sides, stuff like this. Never go behind. I have a video training about how to approach bombers. It's pretty old, but still up to date, like nothing changed. You still have to try different angles when you approach the bombers, which have heavy defensive armament, unless of course they are very low on HP, then you can take a risk and finish off. So if you want to know how to play this machine, I would say the best way is to build it for maneuverability with gas turbine, extra firepower, extra accuracy, and set up the bonus characteristic for fire and critical damage. Obviously for culminator sight you need to have this bonus 5% extra accuracy when firing at moving targets. That helps a lot. For the pilot skills, you can use any pilot of the German nation because it's a premium plane, so you have some options, and I would recommend to have aerobatic and aerodynamic expert must have, like, and then marksman 1 and 2, and the resilience for light fighter, very useful, and these are basic. And if you have any more skill points, you can use it for I would use it for evasive action, a skill for 3 points. That's very useful. And yeah, other than that, of course, obviously choice is yours, but I would say this is the best way to play this machine. So basically you play like a regular light fighter, you build it for maneuverability, you have very good speed, very good altitude performance, and focus on the sectors that are for light fighters, like airbase, airstrip, garrisons, that kind of stuff, some defense, some attack, but always look around, look for the opportunity. If you see that there is a bomber on low HP, stop it and don't allow it to take the, for example, mining plant. If that's happened, you give your team a huge boost in order to win the game. Now, as light fighters, how do we approach the dogfights in this machine? Well, for different planes are different tactics, so for the most of the time I would say we use our firepower and altitude performance. A lot of light fighters at tier 8, 9 and 10 don't have such altitude performance as we do, so we can use that against, for example, Yak line or Japanese light fighters, that kind of stuff. And our firepower is very good and we can use it, but I don't think I ever mentioned this, how to use the firepower of the plane which have very short range. And I don't know, did you guys notice that a moment ago I was engaging in head-on with the Messerschmitt tier 9, and this plane has 800 meters range of his 4 20mm cannons, and this is a big advantage. And if you don't want to get slapped before you even get into effective range of your cannons, you need to do some evasive action. I'm gonna replay that part of the video from a few moments ago, just in 50% of speed, so there we go. So now I'm going into the turn, and I know that Messerschmitt is nearby, going into my direction, so there's engagement inevitably, so I'm just trying to avoid him now. And when I get to the close range, you see I'm doing this barrel roll, and now I straight up when he's in the effective range of my cannons. So there you go. And so I'm gonna move now to the main question which I asked in the beginning of the video: is this plane worth of your money or time which is needed to grind this plane? To answer that, let's look on my experience. I actually was grinding this up to 300 candies, and then I got very tired, so I spent 50 euro just to get another half and get the plane. But if you don't start this event yet, you can buy all of those candies for 90 euro. I mean 90 euro for one pixel plane, which is not so great. It's very difficult to play, no doubt about that. Doesn't have a big impact. It's going to be constantly up against tier 10 bombers, which I showed you earlier. I mean, come on, hello. This price is out of the moon. And on top of that, we have this annoying turret which is firing upwards, but you can't hit anything, you can't use it for most of the time. So why is there? Because developers don't actually play their own game, and they don't understand that this is useless solution. This is not for this game, it's not Night Fighter in real mean of this word. It's not actually flying at night and not attacking the bomber flight formation. These two cannons on top of this plane is basically a visual effect. I'm trying to present this plane for what it is, honestly, with its weaknesses and strong point. It's not a bad plane, not a bad fighter, like, not at all, but price is too high, absolutely. Or you're gonna spend tremendous amount of time to grind it, or shit tons of money. And yeah, that's not worth it, absolutely not. And you can get tier 8 premium plane from premium store or whatever for less money, and it's gonna be much more capable, much more enjoyable, and more effective in the same way, in order to train your pilots, earn some silver or free experience and so on. So if you're not rich person or someone with a lot of time, I wouldn't bother, because this is more like a collector plane. I like those German machines, I'm a fan of German technical thoughts, but yeah, I have to say how it is, and this plane is just a little bit awkward, specifically with this Schräge Musik cannons, like absolutely not ready for this game. But it could be useful and fun to play if developers would change the firing zone for much bigger, and that's still not gonna make this plane overpowered or too strong, absolutely not. But there's a fun story behind this. My wingman, which I'm flying quite often with, he actually makes this plane just through the grind, and he had this plane before me. And I asked him about this plane, how he feels, how this works, and so on and so on. So he basically told me that some bug is in this plane, because when he go into turret mode and there is all over dark, it just can't fire anywhere. And so he didn't even see the spot on the top. So I told him that, hey, maybe this is the Schräge Musik kind of concept they try to implement in the game, so your firing zone will be very narrow and it's gonna be pointed to the top, just like those cannons are pointed. Yeah, so he looked it up, yes, okay, he found it, but he just said that this is useless completely for him, as for me actually. But overall, it's a good light fighter, and that's how we should play it, like a light fighter. If you wanna go after bombers, I would say we should grab a tier 9 heavy fighter, and I don't want you guys to take this particular battle as an indication how good this plane is. I can do pretty same results in many other Tech 3 9 tier 9 light fighters. It's not a bad one, and I did enjoy some of the battles, beside all my complaints, but you just don't see how many times I have been tormented by XF90 or my team was overrun by tier 10 bombers. You just don't see that. Okay, that will be it in this video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you like it, found it useful. If so, please leave a like and subscribe for future content. And if you have any more questions or you want to share your experience with this plane, please leave a comment. And once again, guys, thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one. Take care, pilots.